NyynewsTV. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Swinging for the fences, knock it out the park. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Christian and Chris, of course SGR. This is New York, Yankee sports talk. Homie, New York, Yankee sports talk. Record, rain or shine, grab your shades and umbrellas. NyynewsTV, you're hanging with the fellas.
Welcome back. This is episode 324 of the NyynewsTV podcast. We're live on NyynewsTV. I'm your host, Christian, as always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
You.
And SGR.
What up?
What's up, fellas?
How you doing?
Big episode tonight. Who's sick?
I said, how's it gone?
All right. One of my favorite shows we do all year. Fred is back tonight. Fred's projections. We'll be looking at I believe I have 16 players plus one and plus a win total in an unofficial poll that we'll get to early on before we get into everything else. But before we actually get into Fred's projections, we need you to get into the Audi Club at Yankee Stadium. The event is going to be here before you know it. April 1st, there are a handful of tickets left, so be there for NyynewsTV Day 2023.
Only 17 tickets left, I think.
17. It's under 20 now. Under 20 left.
That's that douchebag Aaron Boone's number. Okay.
Okay.
Also, John Flaherty.
I really started to show off calling the manager a D-bag. Did I really do that?
Yeah. Maybe. It doesn't matter, bro.
Anyway. We want to see you out there, man. I'm so excited that that baseball is starting. We're in the mode now where, like, all the yelling and screaming and ranting that we've been doing, it kind of gets erased for the excitement of the season. And then once you see, the shit hit the field after the ceremonies, it'll come back. But
I
I'm starting to
disagree.
get into that mode where you're not excited. You're not excited for the season to
Oh,
start.
no. I'm very excited. I think I still have a lot of pent up aggression, and I never used to feel this way leading up to opening day, but it's tough to just be excited with this team and not have your things to still scream about.
Well, you know what? The excitement of actually seeing the Yankees take the field in real competitive baseball is washing that away a little bit. There's still obviously a lot of problems with this team, which we're not going to really get into too much tonight because this is about Fred and this is Fred's night. Next week will be, like our season preview, so we can kind of get into that a little bit.
And we should have more answers, right? By next week.
I mean, we should hope so. We should hope so anyway. Okay. But these are the Yankees, so you never know. Okay. The big battle still is who's going to be the shortstop. Apparently, Aaron Boone wants Anthony Volpe to be the shortstop, which, I mean, if that's the case, then Anthony Volpe is the shortstop, right? I mean, I don't want to get into a deep discussion about this, but if that's what the manager wants, he should be the shortstop then.
Yeah, I mean, your camera's out, but
I know we're probably going to deal with this all night.
Just
I still heard you. Yeah,
my audio's not going to go out.
It sounds like you're asking this sarcastically. I mean, are you asking this because you know that that's not necessarily the answer? That this would just prove what a cuck he truly is. I mean, it would actually, if anything, if he's the one who he came out and said he wants him to be shortstop. That's
according to Michael K. This is from Michael K.
Okay, not a trustworthy source, but keep going.
Whatever. If you don't believe Michael K. Okay. Fine, then why are we even having the conversation?
Okay, well, here's what I'll say.
He pounded the table for Anthony Volpe.
Okay, well, then it actually discourages me because that, for me, just makes it that Volpe won't be the shortstop.
Here's what he said, I think, on Michael K. Show. He's coming here with a lot of expectation and eyeballs on him, and he's performed. It's been fun to be around him and fun to watch him play the game. He's definitely in the mix.
Yeah, but that was what Boone said, right?
Right.
That was from Boone's mouth.
Right.
Yeah, but K said sources said that Boone.
Oh, he went sources.
Boone wants Volpe.
Wow.
Okay.
I hope. Look, like I said, I want this decision being made, even though I have my problems with Aaron Boone. I want this decision made by Aaron Boone. I don't want this decision made by the front office. And if Aaron Boone thinks Anthony Volpe should be the shortstop, then that's who the shortstop should be.
Do you think Kay is maybe stirring the pot a little bit here just because he's not getting the exclusive interviews with
because he's a bag of dicks? Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to get some tension going.
No, I don't think so. I think this is what he heard. That's.
Do you look? I read a tweet the other day, and there's a lot of this. There's a lot of this going around. I read my first tweet on my own. And it said that it would be smart to let Volpe start in AAA. This is how brainwashed the fan base is, by the way.
We know this already.
It would be smart to let him start in AAA to gain the extra service time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are we a team? And this is a big question, I think. And again, we don't want to get too deep into anything, but it's a question that I think we can answer fairly quickly. Are we an organization that prioritizes service time now? Or are we an organization that wins? And that prioritizes winning? And do you guys think it's a big deal? See, to me, it is a big deal. But do you think it's a big deal if Volpe is the guy they want up here for majority of the season? Don't you still think it's a big deal to not have him in this lineup then on opening day?
He should be in the lineup on opening day. That's why I said if Boone wants him, he should be the shortstop. This decision should not be a front office decision.
Right. But what I'm asking you is, don't you think it makes a difference for the player.
No, I absolutely agree. If he earned it, then why should he not be rewarded with getting to start on opening day?
Because I always compare that to Chris Bryant and how his relationship with the Cubs kind of dwindled because they manipulated his service time, and then once he was available,
and I don't know the
extra
exact
year, but he left right away.
I don't know the exact ins and outs of it, but I believe the Yankees are rewarded an extra year of service time or something to that effect if Anthony Volpe does win Rookie of the Year this year.
And
there's some new rule in there to encourage teams to not manipulate service time.
Just think about what that does for you as a player. Like, you've played your ass off. You're told you're the future, and they're starting you in AAA so they can control you. And on the opposite end of that, think about what it does for them to say, fuck it. What does it do for the player, for an organization to say, fuck it, man, we don't care. We need you up here. You're our guy. You're the opening day starting shortstop for the New York Yankees, and we don't want to look back.
All right, listen, all you need to know is that right now, the Yankees, we've been through this 100 times. The Yankees twice through 2 off seasons passed on a dozen, and I don't even think I'm exaggerating, guys that play at an all-star level at shortstop for Anthony Volpe, right? Now, Anthony Volpe's had the type of spring where he's made the Yankees look smart, actually, and saying, hey, I'm the real deal. It would be just a malpractice at this point if Anthony Volpe's not on the opening day roster. And I don't necessarily say shortstop because I do believe that even though Peraza's not hitting, Peraza should still be here. The Yankees' problem is still 2 of 3 to me. It's Donaldson, IKF, and Glaber. 2 of those 3 guys have to go, and Peraza and Volpe should be the guys in the opening day lineup.
Yeah, they should be there opening day. And with that service time, Christian, I looked it up. So no matter when a player comes up from the minors, he'll be awarded a full year of service if he finishes first or second in Rookie of the Year. Now, here's one that another.
How does that benefit the team?
So here's the one that benefits the team. A new system put in place now rewards teams with extra draft picks if they promote their top if they promote their top prospects on opening day. A player who receives a full year of service time and finishes in the top 3 in Rookie of the Year voting or top 5 in MVP Cy Young voting will earn his team an extra draft pick coming after the first round.
I knew as I was saying, it didn't make a ton of sense, but I knew there was something in place to reward teams for not manipulating service time. So that's it. They would get an extra.
I'll say something it's probably irrational. I'm going to admit it, but it's just how I feel because of how everything else has gone for this team in the last handful of years when it comes to prospects. For me, again, call me crazy. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just a gut feeling. For me, it's now or never with Volpe. If you start fucking with this kid now, you're fucking done, man. Like we fucked with so many prospects at this point. This kid is not only your superstar, not only performing through the roof in spring training, but like you said, Christian, you passed on so many guys for him. Right now is when it's time. We talk about when is a guy ready? When is it his time? This is his time. And for me, if they start fucking with Volpe at this point, they're done. I'm telling you right now.
If Volpe was hitting 210 with an OPS of like 580 in spring, then there's no argument really. There isn't.
Right.
But he's clearly showing you that he wants this, and you have made it known to the world that this is what you want. So why does this? There should be no reason that this doesn't happen, other than that you are fucking stupid.
Look, there's one thing and I'll compare it to this. I remember a decade ago, Boise State in college football went undefeated.
Right. Now we're going Boise State. Okay.
And I remember after they went 10-0, their ranking after winning that week, they became 10-0, but their ranking dropped. And I said to myself, any system that does not reward you for doing what you're supposed to do is a fucking failed system. any system where you can do the maximum of what you are meant to do and still decline is a failing system. What more could Anthony Volpe do at this point to not be rewarded with this? There's not going to be any other moment where Anthony Volpe has to fight for this. He did. He wasn't expected to be considered for this year. And he completely blew all the competition out of the water. He showed how clearly ready he is. So it's time.
Definitely proven that he has been the best shortstop in camp. And this is coming from a guy that wanted Peraza and thought it would be Peraza.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Volpe's time. It absolutely is. There's no other way to say it. This is what the Yankees wanted. Volpe is, like I just said, Volpe has shown that he wants it. Just make the marriage happen. There's no manipulation. Like, you're already coming into a season here where people are a little bit down on the team right now because you have injuries. Why not inject this kid into this lineup right now when he could bring a little bit of a different flavor to this lineup too, when you might need it to help you get rolling here a little bit.
Sure.
It just doesn't make any sense for me on any level that Anthony Volpe should start the season in the minor leagues, especially if you're telling me that whenever that date is, that for him, then the Yankees would get that extra year of service time, and then they're going to call him up then. That's worthless to me. That is absolutely worthless to me, because I'm going to tell you this right now. If Anthony Volpe is who we think he is and who the Yankees think he is, you're not going to give a shit about that extra year of service time, because if you're smart, you're not going to play this stupid game that you play with Aaron Judge, and he's going to have an extension in his hand way before that year of service time comes into play.
What did I tell you? The Yankees' game plan is to not make moves that risk the future. And that would be exactly why they'd keep him down. Because, yeah, do they genuinely believe in his talent? Sure. But what if not? What if he doesn't? What if he does need more time? They're not ready to take a risk like that because they don't prioritize winning.
Well, you know what their problem is? They don't learn from their own mistakes either. And then if Anthony Volpe goes down, that's going to be another just a red flag that this organization is just not going to win under this current regime.
Yeah, look, I said it just now, and for me, this is really what it all comes down to.
Not under Boone's umbrella.
It's now, fuck him. It's now or never for Volpe for me. If they start fucking with this kid, if they don't have him in the opening day lineup, or if they do and then they start losing faith in him, it's done. You stop fucking with him. Call him up. If this is your guy, this is your guy.
All right, so the unofficial, we'll do the unofficial one. Then we're going to talk about something else, and we'll get into Fred. The unofficial Fred poll is over under how many times Aaron Boone gets bullied this year. The number is 4.
Over under
4 times Aaron Boone gets bullied this year. This is after Aaron Boone decided he was not only going to sing "Umbrella" by Rihanna, but pop his tits out while he was singing the song too. So.
Let me ask you a question.
That's the manager.
Is this an official bully from? Does it have to be on national TV, or can it be like on social media by an elite person?
Elite person,
like like a celebrity type, like let's say Michael K tweets
on the field bullying.
It's got to be on the field bullying. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go under.
Go under 4 times, right?
Yeah. Well, what are some examples? Give us some examples here of
when he got bitched out by the umpire, and he got
and then he did a press conference and cried about how he
literally
said I was bullied.
I was bullied. So
right. Yeah. Then 4. There's 162 games, man. 4 is pretty low. I got to go over on that.
Like when an opposing manager, if Boone is barking and the opposing manager says shut up, and Boone
bullied,
shut up. And the opposing manager go sing Rihanna, bitch. Like that's bullying right there. So yeah. So I'm going over as well. He's gonna get bullied more than 4 times. And umpires aren't gonna respect him anymore either after that. So
yeah, bullied. I got bullied. Yeah. We should do t-shirts. That's
bullies for Boone.
Bullies for Boone. Remember when we said Booners?
Yeah. What happened?
Not
well,
more
it's
fair.
like a
4
turtle.
hours.
It was like a turtle show after watching him sing Rihanna. So
Yeah. Fuck him, dude. Win me. How about you? How about you win me a fucking? How about the next time
Really,
I hear
that
you
should be
sing
the
that?
only right.
It's in the fucking parade at the Canyon of Heroes. How about
Yeah.
that? You could karaoke it for me.
Fucking joke.
you see me?
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
see you.
I see you, John
Oh,
Cena.
what? I don't know what happened. Zoom just went right off my desktop here.
Really? You're so
Yeah, man.
bad with
It's
technology.
wild.
All right, here we go. Anyway, all right. So last night, before we get into last night the United States lost in the WBC final to Japan, and I didn't think we were going to spend a lot of time on the WBC on this show, but I kind of got into it, especially after pool play was over. The games were exciting; people were into it. I guess the big thing that really, made the WBC such a talking point this year was two major injuries to two major players. And Edwin Diaz is out for the season after tearing his patella in a celebration. And Jose Altuve is actually going to be out 8 to 10 weeks after breaking his hand and getting hit by a pitch. So, say this about the WBC. I enjoyed it. It's not something that, if it never came back, I'd be upset over. I enjoyed it. Did I want Team USA to win? Yeah. Does it mean as much to me as if the Yankees win the World Series? No, because Team USA lost last night and I went to bed and carried on with my day today like nothing happened. Whereas if the Yankees lost in Game 7 of the World Series last night, I would have been depressed I would have been depressed about it. It would have been upset. It would have bothered me. It's just different. I was thinking about this last night too. And I've been on record as saying that I don't want any Yankees competing in this thing. I know Gleyber was in it, and I think Higashioka was like the fifth string catcher on the Team USA. But I said to myself,
two guys they don't care about.
When I was watching Merrill Kelly, of all people, warming up for Team USA, I was like, man, wouldn't it be so cool if Garrett Cole was coming out of that bullpen right now to start this game for Team USA? So, but
Can I be honest with you about something?
You hate Garrett Cole, I know.
No. If I'm gonna have a Yankee in there, I'd much rather it be a pitcher than a player, than just an everyday player.
Ooh, I don't
Here's
know.
why.
Those are high intensity innings there in March.
Yeah, but
Well,
here's
that's what
why.
Max Scherzer said, that he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to pitch playoff innings in March.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
It's a fair point.
That's fair.
Well, make your point.
Well, my point was going to be that usually when a pitcher is on the verge, I didn't think of it in that perspective, so it kind of goes against what I'm about to say.
All right.
But I feel like when a pitcher's on the brink of a season-ending injury, it takes a lot more than just a freak thing. Well, obviously what Edwin Diaz did, but I'm talking about while you're playing. Like if a guy's
Altuve would not be out 10 weeks if he didn't play in this thing.
Okay, well, he's a player. He's not a pitcher. That's my point.
But still, it's a major injury to a superstar.
Right, but like if a guy is on the verge of Tommy John, whether it happens in the WBC,
Right, like we joke about that
March.
Aroldis Chapman is the reason that Michael King broke his elbow, but that was going to happen regardless if he had to come in and bail out.
Exactly.
Chapman,
So
right?
that's kind of my point. But
That's fair.
Scherzer does make a good point that those are much higher leverage innings than you're used to at that time. Could put extra stress, but my point is a guy could be running from first to second and completely tear his Achilles. Whereas a pitcher, if he's going to be on the brink of needing Tommy John, that's going to happen regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of, I guess, where I would make my argument, where I'd rather Cole than Aaron Judge play in the WBC.
My point also is that a lot of people are like, well, you can easily get hurt in spring training. But to me, I don't know how you guys feel about this. To me, wouldn't you be able to swallow the injury a lot more if it happened in spring training, preparing for the world, preparing for the season instead of off at the WBC? What if, God forbid, that was Aaron Judge, broke his hand out 10 weeks playing for Team USA? Sure, it could happen playing in friggin' George Steinbrenner Field, but to me, I would be able to deal with that a lot easier, knowing that, hey, you know what? Still, to me, the more important thing is winning the World Series, and it is the World Baseball Classic. So if that happens in preparation of that, I can deal with the injury a little bit better. it still sucks, but I would rather it happen him wearing a Yankee uniform than a Team USA uniform.
Yeah, I agree. It
but I mean,
sucks
but like,
regardless.
regardless. I mean, think of like when Mariano got hurt.
Right, but he did that.
Yeah,
but he
I
did
know,
that.
but that's still hurt really bad. So I
Yeah,
think
for
no matter
sure.
what,
But he was still with the
I mean,
team.
I guess you could sleep easier, but
when
Yeah,
they
I don't know.
pulled Nestor
Someone on my
from it,
team, someone on the team gets hurt, it's gonna suck whether they're doing it in pinstripes or in a USA.
Nestor Cortez had no business playing in the WBC, especially after he finished the year with an injury. I mean, like that was a smart move. And I get it. Like maybe it doesn't mean as much to us here in America as it does to Latin American countries and some of these Asian countries like Japan and the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. And you saw how wild these guys, these fans were going. It was intense. I actually ran into a guy today that went to go see Team Puerto Rico play in Miami, and the videos he was showing me was fucking insane, dude. Like I would actually love to be a part of something like that, but to them, this is more important than I guess the World Series. And you've heard it would also bother me knowing that if you heard a guy that's getting paid $300 million play for your baseball team saying winning an exhibition tournament basically in March is more important than winning a World Series, that would also bother me.
Well,
which we've heard.
Yeah, I think there's a few factors. One, there's no pride in this country anymore, which is a shame.
Well,
but there's other
that.
Yeah, there's other factors too. The first one is that most of these superstars you're watching in the World Baseball Classic play in America. Most of the superstars around the world, the best players in the world, are playing in America. So the World Baseball Classic, to us, we watch it every day.
They're all in America,
right? I mean, we watch it every day, right? We watch the best baseball every single day. That's one thing.
But there's still a sense of pride for Puerto Rico and Dominican.
Well, here's
Republic.
why. But here's why. Who's the baseball capital of the world?
Should be us,
right? So if it's the United States.
It might be Japan.
No, because even Ohtani said it in his pregame prep talk.
Mm-hmm.
I know we admire these guys, but for one night we got to put that aside and beat them. Right? America is who is the we're the role model for all other countries. Japan is second, probably.
Cut out all like Great Britain and Israel and like fucking Italy, and like I would just go straight up, do like best at it. The top. What would you say?
Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic,
America, Japan, Mexico, Venezuela, and I don't know. Could you come up and just do like a round robin out of those 6 teams?
Well, the thing with DR and Puerto Rico is that all
Cuba,
all superstars from those countries.
Yeah, but they don't even have like they don't have a lot of talent anymore because there's some major league talent. But America waxed them.
How about the dude who didn't get back on the plane from Cuba? Smart.
Oh, really? Oh, he did.
All his teammates were like, "Fuck, dude."
They were doing attendance and
yeah.
Oh
man.
No, I love this tournament though. But the best part for me was definitely the crowd.
Yeah,
being
I agree.
Loud.
Man.
If I'm a Marlins fan, I'm almost embarrassed at how loud they were getting there because they're like, "Wow, could actually get this loud in here?"
Imagine they did it at the Trop.
And that Mexico-Japan game was probably
great game,
my favorite game. I
gotta say, a walk-off, right?
Yeah, walk-off gapper. I gotta say, as much as I kind of didn't like Randy Arozarena, I really like him now. He
had an amazing catch, right?
And it was just I don't know. You guys might not like this. I like the flashiness sometimes when it's warranted. And he kind of just stared there, and him and the pitcher had a moment. He was just staring at the pitcher. The pitcher was staring back at him. And
you want to know what blew me away? That Randy Arozarena is Mexican.
Yeah, for a year. He's been a citizen of Mexico for the past year, but he's
not Mexican. He's Cuban.
Okay.
He's a Mexican citizen.
Yes, right.
So no parent was born in Mexico.
No,
he's not half Mexican.
I don't.
Gotcha. Didn't follow it closely enough to know that
his relations with Cuba weren't the greatest, and that's been the case for a lot of Cuban.
There's a lot of loopholes in who you can play for, so that's another thing. And the other big talking point is that when can you play this thing? And if you're going to do it, it has to be now, because I just think the argument to play it after the World Series is stupid, honestly. And if you feel that way, I apologize for calling you stupid, but it's a stupid argument because think about it like this. You want all the best players to play in this thing. You have problems getting them to pitch in this before they've even really taxed themselves this year. Now, let's say the Yankees make a deep run here. They go to the World Series. Garrett Cole throws 200 innings in the regular season. He throws another, I don't know, 50 in the postseason to go through the World Series. Would you say that's a fair number? Maybe, I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
If you go to the World Series, sure.
Garrett Cole throws 250 innings this year. You think you're going to get him to go pitch in the World Baseball Classic?
No, you need that time.
There's no way that you're going to get these pitchers to pitch in this thing, and not even that. Like, let's say you have a guy, I don't know, Corbin Burns, who might be the best pitcher in baseball. Milwaukee might not make the postseason this year. So this guy's sitting on his ass for a month and a half. And now you want him to ramp up again to go pitch in the WBC? He's not going to do it.
Yeah.
There's no good time for it. Honestly, you're not going to take time out of the season to do it. Nobody wants that to happen because the season's already as long as it is.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, if you're going to do it, it has to be in March.
And there's no football on in March. That's
a big point.
But I mean, that their viewers in this were crazy. How many people were watching this tournament? Very unexpected.
Not only no football, but really up until the March Madness started, there's not much of anything.
And so there is March Madness going on too, but it's not the deep rounds of March Madness. It's the early rounds, so it is a good time to do it. You got to pick the time where you're going to get the most views because that's what's going to get the most money.
They're not going to do this in November. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you got to do it after." No, you can't do it in the season. Name me one pitcher that's going to be willing to do this. Either coming off a deep playoff run or sitting at home for the last 5 weeks that's going to want to go and do this. It's just going to be even worse participation wise, in my opinion.
And look, here's the thing, right? Edwin Diaz, freak fucking injury.
Yeah.
Right. Freak injury had nothing to do with the World Baseball Classic. Nothing. He could have done that.
It had everything to do with the World Baseball Classic.
So
because he plays for the Mets, so he wouldn't have been celebrating shit if he was.
Kendrys Morales all over again. Celebration.
But my point is, it was a freak thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like he was exerting himself, and because he was in high intensity innings, he fucking got injured. He was celebrating.
Right, but that goes to your point too. Maybe like with the Tommy John is inevitable. Maybe his knee was going, and that just sped up that process.
And then Altuve is the one who broke his hand.
Yeah, he got hit.
Again, we've talked about this with Judge. Freak.
Yeah, that was a freak one.
Accident. Freak injury. So, I don't know. I'm torn. I'd rather not see Yankees in it. If a gun to my head, I'd rather not, because the Yankees have problems with injuries all by themselves. They don't need a World Baseball Classic, right? Half our fucking team's on the IL already.
All right, can you hear me all right?
Now I can hear you.
Have you been having issues hearing me?
No. Just now I saw your lips moving for 2 seconds.
Nice.
Didn't hear anything.
All right, anyway. All right. You guys want to chat about the WBC some more, or do you want to get into Fred?
Let's do it. I miss Fred,
dude.
All right, so if you're new to the show, which you might be because we haven't been on NYY News that long. It's been a year, but still. This is Fred. Fred is the guy, okay? He's the drunk that comes up with the algorithm, not the algorithm. I'm sorry. Fred is the guy that does the projections on Baseball Reference. You go on Baseball Reference, you look at projected stats. That's Fred. Fred is the guy that comes up with it. So now every year, what we do is we look at the projections and we do over-unders for the year. Okay? This is one of my favorite shows of the year. Okay? So if you're in the chat right now, I want you to play along here. I'm going to give you the stat, and we want you to chime in too, over-under. It's very simple. So we definitely want you to be a part of the show here. That's why we had the option of pre-recording this and just dropping it Tuesday, because Pete did a fantastic job, and the channel just did major numbers covering the see. So that's why we're delayed till Wednesday. But we had the option to record Monday and just drop it as a premiere on Tuesday. But we're like, no, man, we want to do this live. We want to get the fans involved. So if you're in the chat, please, feel free to come along here and give us your thoughts on the numbers here. So I don't know if we've done this in the past, but I do have last year's stats in front of me as well, so we can compare that to what the projection is. There's really no rhyme or reason other than I think I have it alphabetically except for the last two guys, which I let Ryan pick. Although I ended up picking one of them anyway because it was hard to do Clark Schmidt's numbers because they're based on him being a reliever, and I think he's going to end up being a starter at least to start the year. Also, we're not doing Volpe and Peraza because Volpe doesn't have projections and Peraza's are based on the limited number of games that he played last year. So even if he makes a team, it kind of would be pointless to do that. So if you guys are ready, we can jump right into this here.
Let's do it.
I'm ready, man.
All right. So it would have been easy to just kind of do the same thing for everybody. So I tried to pick numbers that, would make the most sense for each guy. So we're going to start with Harrison Bader, who came over here injured and is currently injured. And Harrison Bader played in 86 games last year. Now, there's no games played for projections. It's plate appearances. And so how I figure that out is on average, you get 4 plate appearances a game. You just divide that by 4, and that's how you come up with the number. So last year, Harrison Bader played in 86 games. He's projected to play in 99 games this year. SGR, we'll start with you. What is your call on Harrison Bader?
Well, let's hope he returns from injury and he's healthy. It's a big year for him. He's a free agent next year, right?
Correct. He's a free agent at the end of the season.
I'm gonna go over on that.
Going over, Chris.
What do we have any projections on when he'll be back?
I'm saying, an oblique is tricky. I think 6 weeks is probably fair.
6 weeks from the injury? Do we think by the start of May he's back in this lineup?
I would hope so.
Then I would think if he's under 99, I think that's a real big problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to go over.
Chris is going over.
I don't think I'll say this. I don't think he misses many more games other than his injury.
Bader's not a guy that's stayed healthy relatively a lot in his career. He was traded for hurt. He's hurt now, and 99 games seems like an easy over if he only has this injury and plays through it. But for the sake of optimism, I'll go over as well on Harrison Bader.
And he's only done that 3 times in his career, played over 99 games.
It's not trending in the right direction for him.
No.
So actually, I'll go left to right instead of going up and down, which is how I initially wrote it. We'll go with Aaron Hicks next. The bum Aaron Hicks had a 642 OPS last year. This year he's projected to have a 663 OPS. Chris, you could start.
I honestly, after you said Aaron Hicks, I stopped listening, and so I don't even know what you said, but I'm going to go under. Because under for everything, under for every stat that you could possibly give me, unless it's strikeouts for Aaron Hicks. Because
you don't think he's going to be a 30-30 guy?
Because he's a fucking bum that I honestly cannot believe is still on this roster. I really can't. Under, I hope I'm wrong. I'll still always hope I'm wrong. But under, he doesn't even deserve to put the pinstripes on under.
Okay, Ryan.
What was that number again?
663 on the OPS.
663. Well, you look at before last season. Yeah, pretty decent numbers, but 663, man. No, man. I'm keeping him right around the same range as 2021 and 2022 and mid to low 600s. So under.
I think we're all going to be in agreement on this one here. I'm going under. He hit 642 in a healthy year last year. And I'm tired of stressing that point to everybody that thinks, Aaron Hicks comeback season. Well, last year was really his comeback season because he was healthy. And he had a 640.
I was told he was hurt. I was told by someone on Twitter that he was hurt last year and he didn't get enough opportunities.
He hurt himself in the postseason, not in the regular season.
Oh, I
Played
heard it.
130 games played last year.
It's
Yeah.
healthy for him, and he was benched a
that's-
lot too.
that's
So I
very
mean,
healthy.
that's a healthy year for him.
Yeah.
So I one of the reasons I heard the Yankees were still going to play him out there is because they didn't think he was going to be any worse than he was last year.
what a great reason.
And 663 OPS projection would be an improvement, but I mean, what is that? That might be an extra home run or two, so it's possible, but I'm not betting on it. So under for Aaron Hicks. All right. So last year, we were all very disappointed in this guy, Garrett Cole, for the regular season. Okay. He had a 3.50 ERA in the regular season last year. Looking at the projections, Fred might have cut back on the drinking. I think he's very in line with what these guys did last year. A lot of his projections are. Okay. So Cole is projected to have a 3.47 ERA this season. I'll start. It's an under, and it better be an easy under for Garrett Cole. This is not one of those, they call them backdoor covers. Like the last start of the year, he gets his ERA down to 3.45. No, this Garrett Cole, he is an October ace. There's no denying that. Garrett Cole is the guy we want him to be in October. What Garrett Cole needs to be is that guy from April through September as well. Too many inconsistencies last year. Okay. And I don't care what the strikeout numbers were, where he ranked here, how many Cy Young votes he got. If you think a 3.50 ERA and leading the league in home runs is okay for an ace, you're sadly mistaken. It was a very mediocre year for who Garrett Cole is supposed to be. But I have the highest of high expectations for Garrett Cole, and I'm taking the under on the ERA.
SGR, you're up.
I want to go under, but it was 323 or no, he went from 2.84 in 2020 with the Yankees to 3.23 last year, 2 years ago in 21 to 3.5 last year. So it looks like that number's trending up a little bit each year. I'm going to go over. I'm going to say he goes over, but you look at last year had his highest ERA. It also had his highest innings pitched. So it's still going to be a good year. It's still a 200 innings pitched year, but I don't know. I see it with another year on his arm. I'm not big on pitchers when they get past a certain number and age and innings pitched. And I think he's still going to have a great year, but I do see that ERA taking an uptick in the regular season.
I'll say this, and we talk about Fred being a drunk, right? But maybe, like you said, Christian, you think he cut back on the alcohol and the boozing?
Maybe.
I think he's actually doubled down on the boozing.
Wow.
Because when you look back to previous years, we thought he was boozing with his crazy projections, but he's been pretty dead on, right? I mean, where did he project Cole last year? Like 3.37, I think. And we all said he better not even be fucking close to that, right? Fred was pretty fucking dead on. Fred actually went under there. So I think Fred has been pretty good. I think he actually doubled down on the drinking, which is why he's more in line with last year. I'm still going to go under, mainly because I can't go over. Just like we say every year, I just cannot be an optimistic Yankee fan and go over on 3.47. I can't expect that. If I'm going into the season, I know we talk about October and he's the October ace, but I still can't go into a regular season where I am genuinely believing Garrett Cole's going to pitch to a 3.47 ERA or anywhere near it. So is it possible? Is SGR's prediction realistic? Beyond realistic. It could absolutely happen. I just can't get myself there. So I have to go under.
I'm going to kill myself. I can't say that. Sorry. I'm going to unalive myself.
You just offended everybody.
If we are going to start banging.
If Garrett Cole goes over his ERA from last year.
Yeah.
Well, he's done it every year in the pinstripes. He's gone up every year.
Hey, he's got a lot to prove this year, and he's got some competition. So,
and Corbin Burns should be a Yankee too, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, Clay Holmes is up next. He had 20 saves last year. He's projected to have 8. Clay Holmes is
Shit.
before we get any angry people, people always get triggered by who's on these lists and who's not. Clay Holmes is the only reliever on the list because I just don't care to get in the minutia of the relievers. He's the closer. The Yankees made it perfectly clear when they gave him a contract based on games finished. He's the closer, so he's the one I chose. He's projected to have 8 saves this year. So
Man,
start here.
Who's starting here? Me?
Oh, Ryan, you're talking.
Sure. Over. I mean, come on. If he only has 8, then again, that's a Bader similarity where there's a big problem if he only has 8 saves this year. They're losing a lot of games, and they're losing a lot of games early. They're out of the division race by May. Not out of it, but have fallen behind by that point, or he's gotten injured. So I gotta say, as an optimist, over.
Well, I'll go over, but also to kind of counter what you're saying that they're losing a lot of games. But this is a contingent on his performance as well. If he's going to be the closer, he's going to have more than 8 saves. So if he has under 8 saves, it's an injury or he's not.
Or he lost his job.
Right. So, I mean.
Right. But if he lost his job, how many chances did he get to
but here's the thing,
himself?
right?
And then but if you lose your job as a closer, that means you're losing games.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Even the worst teams, their closers have more than 8 saves.
Save 20, 22 games easily.
Yeah. Even the worst, even the most losingest teams in the season still have closers with more than 8 saves. So I think this one is one where Fred fell asleep and Baseball Reference was forced to go with the algorithm that takes into consideration too much of last year. And that the numbers
do you think Holmes will lose his job at any point this year? That's kind of what this is saying.
I think it's more than possible.
Well, so then don't we have to look at then Fred's projection for Loaizaga? Because wouldn't he be the only one that can?
Is there any other reliever that there's higher saves? So look, I think
there wouldn't. Let me look it up real quick.
I think that if he's going to lose his job, that's the guy he's going to lose it to.
Right.
But I don't think he's going to. I think that Holmes really found his stuff again.
He's projected 3 saves this year.
Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of just not having a closer and basing it off of so much of last year. Yeah. I think Holmes is the guy. I don't see him really losing his job. It would take a catastrophe for that to happen. And I think he really found his shit again towards the end of last year. So I'll go over, and I think it's going to be over fairly early on in the season.
All right. Next up is Nestor Cortez. Last year, he had a 2.44 ERA. This year, Fred's got him projected for a 3.02 ERA.
Ooh.
So, Chris, you seem interested in this one.
Yeah. I'm going to go over on that. I think that Nestor's going to start to come back down to earth a little bit. But even a 3.02 is extremely respectable. If he has anywhere near a 3.02, I'll be ecstatic, especially because of how loaded this rotation is when everyone's healthy. I'm going to go over with acknowledging that it could very well be right where it was last year. But I'll go over.
Okay. Ryan, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I doubted this guy way too much since he's been a Yankee. It's just I was always waiting. All right, when is he going to come back down to reality? And I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say he's going to be this pitcher for this year at least. Finished 8th in Cy Young last year. He's gonna stay in the 2s. He's going to be under.
So you think Nestor is this guy until he proves otherwise?
Until I have to, because it was unfair of how much I was just waiting for that shoe to drop.
All of us.
Yeah, and it never did. So
see, I don't think it's that he's going to have a bad year. I just think it's going to be over because 3.02 is a very
right. 3.02 is still good. You're right, Chris. But he had 2.44 last year.
Yeah. Hey, could very well be under.
It could be under, but I think I'm going over on it. I mean, 3.02, like you said, is still super respectable. Even if he goes 3/4 of a run higher than last year. So what is that? That's like in 320-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you hate him too. And you
I
don't
do.
respect him. He's
I
the
don't
mascot,
respect him.
team
He's the
mascot.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Nestor, I got over on Nestor. I mean, he can have a great year and go over that number 302.
Over,
And
and
Right,
and I would
definitely.
still be ecstatic if it's close to 302.
I just think he's going to be. I mean, look at he's been the top 3 pitcher in baseball for the last 2 years.
I think your mindset is way more fair to him than to think over.
Yeah, I'm considering him one of the better pitchers out there right now.
I think he is. I think
I
think you're right.
Just because he throws 92.
I think he's good. I just don't 302,
No,
man.
I hear you.
Getting an over on that is not. It's not saying he's going to have a 5 ERA. He was
Right.
at. I think his projection was 3.99 last year, and I said over because even if
Yeah,
Nestor,
you did.
even if Nestor went into low 4s last year, you would have taken that from
Yeah.
Nestor Cortez. And
Yeah.
he has earned enough respect that he deserves that type of projection. And like I said, if we're sitting here on October
That's true.
on October 1st or whenever the season ends, and I tell you that Nestor Cortez's ERA was 3.2, are you going to be mad at the season that he had?
Hell no.
And think of how awesome that is that he's even projected this. A guy that was cut by the worst
It's crazy.
team in baseball, the Orioles. It's now projected a 3 ERA.
Crazy.
Next up here is the reigning MVP of the American League, the home run champion, Aaron Judge. We all know he hit 62 home runs last year.
Over.
He's projected to hit 41 this year. I'm going to take, well, this is tough for me. I'm going to take the over, but like I said, a backdoor over where maybe he hits 1 or 2 in the last week to get him to 42-ish, 43. And I'm going to say this. I don't think he needs to hit any more home runs than that. I think we'll see a better Aaron Judge in October if he's not chasing some record this year. I think that weighed on him. I think it took a lot out of him. I think he was just mentally and physically spent chasing this record last year. And I don't think, and if the Yankees are really going to be a legitimate World Series team, they shouldn't need Aaron Judge to hit 62 home runs this year. So if he's hitting in the mid 40s, that's an excellent year. That's still going to be an MVP year. And I think we're going to see a much better Aaron Judge in the postseason if that's the case. So the projection is 41. I'm going to take the over, but a slight over. And I don't want it. And honest to God, I don't want it or need to see him anywhere near 62 this year.
Yeah, if the projection was 45, I'd probably go under. But I can't go under when it's at 41 because I do think he'll be in the 40s somewhere. I think it'll be the low 40s. And I can't go under at 41 because I think going under at 41, you're looking at in the 30s, and I think he has more than that in him. So I'll go over, but like Christian said, slightly over. Could be wrong on that, man. Might hit in the 50s again.
Yeah,
who knows?
I'll go over too. The only thing maybe stopping that is that he's going to be pitched differently earlier this year, where he's not going to see those pitches maybe he was seeing in April and May last year. Because, he's coming off a historic season like that. So that could play into it where he's not even getting those opportunities as often. But a full healthy season for Aaron Judge playing more than 130 games, we'll say, he should get over that number. He had 39 in 2021 at 148 games played.
Well, right. To back your point a little, if anything was exposed of Jeter, of Aaron Judge,
Captain, wrong captain,
breaking that record. If anything was exposed, I don't even think it was anything on Judge. I think it was how easily teams could pitch around him and still win ball games.
Well, what team was doing that? What team was doing that in September? Was it the Giants
Jays?
or somebody just kept walking?
It was all of them, really.
But also, remember that juiced ball theory that was going around?
Yeah.
And maybe those balls were a little juiced.
I don't know, dude. All I know is if this team, which again, lineup wise is no different really. If this team isn't showing up and they're making it easy for teams to avoid Aaron Judge, they're going to do it all season.
Yep.
If anything was
the key
exposed,
to this number, Chris, then is
the other
teammates.
guys in the lineup.
Yeah, you're right.
I still think I as much as I don't trust a lot of these guys in this lineup this year, I still think it's an over.
So do I.
Next up is bum ass Wash Donaldson.
Okay.
Last year, he actually hit more home runs than I thought he hit last year. I thought he only hit 12. He actually hit 15 home runs last year.
Nice.
And if you want proof that Fred's been hitting the hooch again, he's got Wash Donaldson projected for 18 home runs this year.
He did hit 2 the other day. Spring training. Do those count? So is he at 2 already, or spring training stats?
They actually for him they let him.
Yeah, just combines them all. I'll say under. I'm going under. He's gonna suck this year. Hopefully they'll bench him, but they'll probably keep riding him. Let's see, how many times has he gone over 18 in the last 5 years? He's done it 2 times. 37 and 26 in 2019 and 2021. I just don't see it. I don't see the player anymore.
Yeah, I mean, somebody told me today that it was unfair to call him washed after one season. I mean, if you look at his numbers, you can see what a decline he's been on. It's not my fault the guy fell off a friggin' cliff this year.
It's bad.
18. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. If he's going to play regularly and he can't hit 18 home runs and he's still given that type of time.
Yeah, you're right.
God, like, what are we doing here? But I try to be as optimistic as I possibly can about everybody that's on this team. I want everybody in Yankee uniform to succeed. I want to be wrong about Aaron Hicks. I want to be wrong about Wash Donaldson.
Same here.
But those two guys, I need to see it before I can speak it. And 18 home runs just seems like way too many for him. Just way too many. If you set that shit at 9, I'd probably take the under.
Wow.
So I'm taking the under on Wash Donaldson's 18 home runs.
Yeah, look, I'm not telling anyone to be optimistic about Donaldson. I'm certainly not. I don't think this is going to change much, but I think it needs to be addressed that he has made clear adjustments in the last couple days.
Which I pointed out, by the way.
And it's something that me and someone else, one of my buddies I was talking to, not my buddy Gibbs, someone else. And we were talking about how that front foot needs to fucking get down quicker and his timing
got too much movement.
Yes.
Too much movement in his hands.
In his hands. And he really cut that down. And we were like, why can we see this and not them? I said, well, I think we were even talking about that on the show. I said, he's a vet. You got to let him get there. And he clearly made those adjustments before the 2 home run game. And he looks a lot better. But more importantly, he feels a lot better. He feels more confident right now.
Yeah.
That said, I'm going with the under. I really just look.
That was a good argument, though. You're kind of swaying.
No, all I'm saying is, I think
I'd like to see.
I think Donaldson
I'd like to see it. At least you can see that he's trying.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's true.
Look, if anyone's going to overcome the pressure of having to perform this year, I think it's going to be a guy like Donaldson and not a guy like fucking Gary Sanchez who sits and cries that people are mean to him or that he gets booed, or Aaron Hicks that, people are, screaming shit at him and he needs to get taken out of the game. I think if anything, Donaldson's got the mindset to do it. I don't know that he will because, like you said, Christian, that fucking player just doesn't seem to be there anymore. I'm still going to go under, but I think Donaldson can turn things around. I just don't think it's likely.
So Brendan Cunty wrote an article today saying that there's more reasons than the $27 million the Yankees owe him that Wash Donaldson is playing
zero
this year.
Reasons.
There's zero. First of all,
Zero.
There's 0 reasons why he's playing this year other than the money that's owed to him.
0.
Now, I posed this question in the WhatsApp chat for NyynewsTV. You guys don't pay attention to that, so I'll pose it here now. Is Brendan Cunty the biggest cuck for the YPM?
It's got to be.
Yeah, not even close.
Hoke is up there. Hoke is up there.
Rhymes a joke.
Not even he said this.
But Cunty, after this,
come on.
I think right now he's, how there's world rankings and like athletes and stuff.
Is he prime Tiger Woods right now?
He's prime Tiger Woods right now. He's ranked number 1 in the tri-state area.
Okay, so YPM is Yankee Propaganda Machine.
Yeah.
So we don't have to say that again.
Right.
We're just gonna abbreviate that. The YPM,
YPM.
he is number one cuck for the YPM. And this is Ryan's favorite player. So we'll let Ryan start off with this one. DJ LeMahieu hit 261 last year. And I know we throw WAR around and it's to use it to make an argument, but then when we talk about Gleyber Torres, I'll shit all over WAR. But to show you how valuable DJ LeMahieu is, with all the time that he missed last year, he had a 3.7 WAR. So he is a valuable member to this team, and he had 261 last year. Fred's got him at 266 this year.
Can I just say one thing before SGR goes?
All right.
I think it has to be noted that for 2 straight years, SGR has given a prediction on DJ, and both you and I have called him nuts, out of his mind, awful at projecting things, and SGR has been right both times. Even though, and let's also be fair here too, the projections were much higher for I think last year was like 298. And he even went under, and we were like, no, you're fucking dumb. You're doubling down on your
yeah.
And no, he's been right both years. So I take a lot of what you say here, holds a lot of weight for me.
I know my LeMahieu facts, and I'm saying it live. He's going over. Wow. 266. He will hit over that number. I think he'll be closer to 300 this year. He could be one of those names if they had like a BuzzFeed article, top 10 players who benefit from the shift ban. I think LeMahieu would be right there at the top 3 of that. He's going to put the ball where he wants it. There'll be more little openings, little gappies. He's going to have a bounce back year this year.
I love the over on DJ LeMahieu if he's healthy, and I can't go into the season optimistic and thinking that DJ LeMahieu is not going to be healthy. DJ LeMahieu is the guy that changes this lineup. He is the one 100%. Guy that's not, and this is also with the hope of Volpe being in this lineup every day. But based on the last few years without Volpe here, right? This is the one guy that changes the entire dynamic of this lineup. He's there to put the ball in play. He's there to make contact. He's not there to drive in runs. He's not there to hit home runs. This is a guy. He's the quintessential wheel. He's the cog that makes this team go. And you saw how good the Yankees are in the last couple of seasons when DJ LeMahieu was hitting, and he's hitting like DJ LeMahieu can. So I got in 266. I mean, we don't even need, batting champion DJ LeMahieu hit 340 that year, or 320 or whatever it was when he, the first year he was here. Yeah. Can I get 285, 290? If I get DJ LeMahieu hit 290 this year, the Yankees are going to be a much better and much different offensive teams. I'm going over.
Yeah, look, I'm going to make this brief. I think DJ LeMahieu is over that. I think he's back to normal this year. I think he's finally healthy. And I think one thing is true about DJ LeMahieu. This team rides on him. Okay, he sets the table. We've said it year after year. And I'm telling you right now, the Yankees better pray that he's healthy and back on his game, because if he is, we aren't going to look back on letting Benintendi walk. But I'm telling you right now, if he's not on his game, we don't have anyone who really profiles as that guy at the top of the lineup. And we're going to be wishing that Brian Cashman just fucking went all out for a guy like Benintendi, because when DJ was hurt and not playing the same, that was what made me want Benintendi here more. And we need to fill that void in this lineup. There's only one guy right now who, in my opinion, is capable of doing it at a high level. That's DJ LeMahieu. I'm going over 300, to be honest. I think DJ's back to normal this year. I think he's finally healthy. And honestly, by the end of the year, I think he's our starting third baseman, because I don't see JD having a fully healthy year.
All right. Next up is hopefully the guy he's throwing the ball to all the way across the other side of the diamond. That's Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo popped 32 bombs last year. Fred's got him down for 23 this season. This is a tough one. It really is, because you got a couple of things to factor in for Rizzo back, and also I think last year with the shift, he fell in love with trying to pull the ball, and it worked for him. Okay, it did. He hit 32 home runs. I don't think Rizzo's going to look to pull the ball quite as much this year as he did last year. but I think 23 is still a little low. Again, it's one of those backdoor cover types where, yeah, I've been throwing that turnaround where he hits maybe 24, 25. I think 23 is a little too low for him, but I also don't think he's going to be near that 32 this year because I don't think he's going to try to hit 32 home runs this year with the shift. We know how well Anthony Rizzo can handle the bat, and I think he's going to hit for a much higher average this year, but maybe not so much with the power, but I'll still take the over.
I think, again, like you said, the over under 23 is low for me. So I think he kind of falls into that, but I'm very inclined to say under, and it's not because of the shift, unfortunately. I don't have a lot of faith that Anthony Rizzo stays healthy all year.
Right.
And I think the further along this season goes, the more cautious the Yankees are going to be. I think that if Stanton is finding more playing time, it's because DJ's playing first base a lot. For times when Rizzo's not hurt and maybe Rizzo's DHing. I don't know, man. I'm going to go over, like I said, because I think it's a low number, but I don't see it much further over. I think he falls into that number because he's got that natural power, but I'm really nervous about that back.
Yeah, so if he gets hurt, then that's one thing. But if he has a full season at Yankee Stadium, I'm going over that number. I mean, you look at his last, I don't know, few years, he hasn't really hit too many dinghies, but I don't know, full year with Aaron Judge in the lineup, he's going to be seeing a lot of pitches. As long as he could stay healthy, he should hit I'd say in the 30 range again.
Going over 30 again, huh?
Yeah, I'll say an even 30 for Rizzo this year. Pop.
Positive.
PGR.
Positive guy, Rye.
Positive guy, right?
All right, here's another bum ass bitch, Gleyber Torres. Okay.
How many guys do we have left?
Gleyber, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus the win total. So let's try to speed things up, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Gleyber Torres. I took RBIs for Gleyber. I like the stat for him because I think he'd be predicated on the runs that he drives in more so than anything else that he does offensively. Last year he drove in 76 runs, a decent number. It could have been higher. This year he's projected for 62. That's bullshit, but I'll let Chris start this one.
What is it projected?
62 RBIs.
And how many did he have last year?
76.
Ooh. Man, you know what, dude? I'm gonna go under. I don't think Torres has a bright future here.
Because of the rookies.
Yeah, I don't think, again, if this is a serious ball club, which they've proven time and time again, they haven't been. I think that's a low number for a reason. So I'm going under.
Ryan,
this one's hard for me, but I'm gonna say over.
That's what she said.
Yeah, great, Raw. I like the year he had last year. You know, he put up nice numbers. He had a good stretch for us last year, but 62 is super low. So I gotta give him some credit. Say over.
Well, I can't go under the assumption that what I want to say and take the under because he's only going to have 40 here with the Yankees and he's going to get his ass traded somewhere else.
All right. Yeah, I was thinking that too. But these are just the year projections?
Yearly projections. Yeah. But I would say if Gleyber Torres has a full healthy year and he has under 62 RBIs, and the Yankees really fucked up by not trading him.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, I think he's good enough where he should be in that mid to 70 to 80 range every year. He's not a bad baseball player. I think people misconstrue the way I talk about Gleyber Torres for me thinking that he sucks. He doesn't suck. He's a good baseball player. I just don't think he's a winning baseball player, and he's a guy that I don't want in the Yankees anymore. Okay, but I think he has plenty of natural talent. I think 62 is way low for him, and I mean, if you're being fair about it, I'm taking the over on the RBIs for Gleyber. So next up, we got who's supposed to be the co-ace for the Yankees, Carlos Rodon, who's currently injured. So it takes a little steam out of our event on April 1st. We were supposed to go, and we were supposed to see his first start. So hopefully he'll be back late April as Brian Bitchman is projecting, but we'll see. Last year he pitched to a 2.88 ERA. This year he's projected for a 3.06. Ryan, what do you say here?
I'll say over 306. He's pitching for a team with a better offense, so he might, be a little bit more lenient with giving up runs. I'm kind of worried about this forearm strain. That's something that Tanaka dealt with, and his velocity dipped a pretty substantial number from like 97 to 93, 94, and that's kind of what might end up happening with Rodon here. I'm going over. I still think he'll have a nice ERA, but over 306.
All right, Chris.
What was it last year?
2.88.
And 2.37 the year before that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I think he sits in the 3.2s. I really do. And I still think, again, as a guy who's not here to necessarily be the ace or the first ace, I think it's a respectable season. But that forearm injury does scare me a little bit too. I'm going to take over, but not by much.
Let me ask you this question, because I keep hearing this brought up on talk radio, sports talk radio for some reason. That a concern about Rodon is if he can handle New York.
What? That's why he's here, bro. That is not a concern for me. If anything, I personally think Rodon is so confident in himself and so comfortable under the spotlight that he understands that when the Yankees take a decent lead in a game, or just like CeCe, where he used to pitch differently, he used to be able to put the ball over the plate more, let them try and hit it. And I think that's part of the reason for me why I think you will see a little bit higher of an ERA here. It's not because he can't handle it. I just think he's going to be smarter here and not have to prove anything to anybody.
I thought it was silly, Peter, that I kept hearing that brought up. I think, if anything, if that's the thing you're worrying about Carlos Rodon, then we got a lot of problems.
Yeah,
here.
Then you're just not paying attention. I mean,
I'm going to take the over as well, to be honest with you, for a lot of the same reasons you guys are saying. I think that the Yankees are going to watch him as soon as he comes back from this injury. So, he might have like a 3-run, 5-inning performance, which kind of jacks up your ERA a little bit. And I think he will, hopefully be in situations where he can pitch to the scoreboard, and instead of giving up, 1/8, knowing that he has to do that, he might give up 3/8 because he's not, the Yankees are winning the game 9-1,
Yes.
So again, just like, 306, if he pitches to 3.20, 3.3, he shows that dominance, and he's there to ride with Cole in October. I think that's what we signed up for.
Absolutely.
But I'll take over. Next up here is Jose Trevino, the catcher. It was really hard to come up with something for him. Last year he hit 11 home runs. This year he's projected for 10. I hate to say push, but I'm not going to. I'll take over in 11 and just say that he hits 11 again. I don't think you need anything else out of Jose Trevino. I really don't. I think if he carbon copies the exact offensive season that he had for the Yankees last year, you sign for it. You sign for it in blood. He's not there to be an offensive force. He's there to be a Gold Glove. He was the Platinum Glove winner back there. Where the Yankees need to improve is they need to improve Kyle Higashioka, not what Jose Trevino got. But the projection is 10. It's another one of these stupid backdoor cover types things that I'm going to call here and say that he takes the over and like 11 again. So that's what I say for Jose Trevino.
Yeah, I'll go there. I'll say over too, especially he's going to be their catcher. You'd think this year for a majority of the games, unless something changes, but
his job to lose now.
Yeah. And then you look at for Texas, the most games he played for Texas in a season was 89. He played 115.
I was going to say he played around 110 last year. So.
Yeah, but you saw for the Yankees, I'm saying for Texas, right? For the Rangers, he only played 89 last year. He played, and you saw
that Trevino kind of hit a wall towards the end of the year this year. So maybe he's better conditioned to play 120, 125 games this year, and you get a little bit more of a steady offensive performance. Because remember, towards the end of last year, he was just dreadful. But you don't really need much more out of Trevino.
I'll say over, but barely.
I'm going to go over also barely, but I think Trevino at this point in the game, I think he is going to put a lot of focus on just staying elite defensively. And all I really want out of Trevino at this point is to just be a good at bat. Give me a good at bat when you're up there. Don't be an automatic out. Don't be all or nothing like you get out of Higgy when he, runs into a few.
He gets 7 home runs in a week, and then he has 8 for the season.
Yeah, exactly. Just give me good at bats up there. Be someone who can fill that lineup spot, with more than just getting up there and being an automatic out. And that's all I ask of him. I still think he's over, but not by much.
All right, next up is Luis Severino, and I think this is the most important stat for Luis Severino. It's innings pitched. So they don't, like I said, I wanted to go game started, but they don't give you a projection for game started. So we'll just go with innings pitched. Last year he threw 102. This year he's projected for 107, and it really is tough to take the over. This was his healthiest year since 2018 last year, and he threw 102 innings. That's not really awe-inspiring to take if you want to take an over on that, but
I don't know. Made 19 starts this year.
Right, and you need him to make at least what?
30?
28? Would 28 be asking too much?
No. Well, here's the thing. Did you say under over yet?
I didn't, but I'll take the over just because I think Sevy is going to be motivated. If he's healthy, the thing with Severino is he going to be healthy? You just don't know with him. You just don't know with Luis Severino. But if he is, he's going to be friggin' motivated. He's got to bug up his ass about the Yankees and the way they treated him. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. But I don't know. I just think the Stars will call me naive or whatever. I think the Stars are going to be aligned for Sevy this year. I'll take the over.
I'm going to take the over. And I think last year, a lot of that had to do with, first of all, we forget he was injured last year.
He was injured, absolutely.
And then he was trying to come back. Didn't he get injured again? Trying to come back?
I don't know if he was injured again or the Yankees were just like, hey, we're just going to stash you over here for a while.
But I think it's going to be over by a decent amount. And I think the Yankees will be a little more inclined to let him pitch more this year. I think that's an over. It better be an over.
Well, really. They're definitely concerned about the injury because they didn't let him pitch in the World Baseball Classic. But I think he goes over that number. They're going to need him to go over that number. He's going to be a huge piece in this rotation.
So you're going over?
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into the next guy, we got to read a quote here, okay? Because it ties in. This is from Brian Cashman. Now, I don't know. I know I'm probably talking out of my ass, but did Brian Cashman hear my rant about taking accountability last week?
Oh, I know.
Maybe.
Because this is what Brian Cashman told Ian O'Connor regarding the Frankie Montas trade. You can't sugarcoat it. The Montas trade didn't work out. We didn't get a healthy pitcher, and that ultimately is my responsibility.
Shocking. I thought that was a joke when I saw that.
Thought it was from but that's
the
Onion.
That's like backhanded accountability. He's like, we didn't get a healthy pitcher, so he's like kind of insinuating. I know he says it's his fault, but
it's a step in the right direction, wouldn't you say? He never takes accountability for anything that happens wrong on this team.
Baby steps.
Why we bring that up there is because the guy that's replacing bum-ass Frankie Montas is Domingo Germán, and Domingo Germán pitched to a 3.61 ERA last year. Fred's got him down for a 3.97 this year, and I'll just say quickly, I got an over for Germán. Germán's the type of guy that gets exposed the more that he pitches, and the Yankees are going to really, he's going to be a regular starter for them unless they acquire somebody. So, but again, you talk about these things, but even if Germán pitched to like a 4.6 as your 5 guy replacing an injury, you're not upset over it. But I don't think Germán pitches to an under 4 ERA if he's making 20-ish starts this year, which it looks like he's gonna.
I'm gonna disagree with you completely. I think Germán's a guy who needs to get into a rhythm throughout the season. Before he starts to look dominant again. And when he comes off an injury or something, or he's put back in this rotation, usually his first handful of games, he looks off. And then he kind of falls into a groove and he pitches really consistently, really well, can go deep into some ball games. I actually think the more he pitches this year, the better he gets. And I'm going to go under.
Ryan?
Yeah, completely disagree. No, I'm going over. He kind of ended the year pretty poorly last year. If you look at his numbers in September, I have liked what I've seen from him in spring training, but
he pitches every other day too.
But that's a low projection, Fred. 3.61. That's a great year.
3.61 was last year. 3.97 is this year.
3.97. That's still pretty good though for your 5, because he's projected to be the 5th starter. You'd say, right?
Well, 4, I guess,
4?
right now.
All right,
4,
so, okay.
but in the technical terms, he's our 5-star.
All right. I'm gonna go over that still, even though it's 3.97.
Okay, Rick Pitino.
Okay. Newly acquired head coach. Okay. Rick Pitino.
Okay. Again, just like Severino, this is the most important stat for Giancarlo Stanton, and it's games played. Last year, G played in 110 games. This year, Fred thinks he'll play in 121.
Mm-hmm.
I love that number for Giancarlo Stanton. I love it. I think 120 is actually the perfect number of games for Giancarlo Stanton. Why? I mean, this is a guy that you have worry about staying healthy, and if he misses 40 games, I think you fucking sign for that, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't even think most of those 40 are because he's injured. I think a lot of those 40 are trying to find playing time for guys like DJ with a crowded infield. And I don't think that even has to necessarily mean he's injured at any big point in the season.
Unfortunately, I got to take the under on this because what's a Yankee season without Giancarlo Stanton missing 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Right.
I love G. I really do. He's one of the few guys that shows up in October every year, but I just don't trust him in the regular season being healthy. And even though I love the number 121, if he played 121, I'd be ecstatic. I'm taking the under.
I mean, he definitely has a great opportunity to play. I mean, every year he does, but in the outfield this year more so. And that, I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. Could be a bad thing, but I gotta say, I gotta go under. It's too many years of the same thing with him. Under.
I'm going to go under, but by 1 game.
Wow.
I actually think he sits right at 120. I really do. And I hope I remember that prediction because when I think games played by G this year, all I think about is 120 on the dot. So I'm going to go under, but by 1 game.
All right. And our last player here, save the best for last.
Okay.
IKLF, IKCF, IKFC. Whatever the Yankees need him to do, the team
What's
player,
IKFC?
Like KFC.
Oh.
No, IK Isaiah Kiner Centerfield.
No, you said
IKFC.
IKCF, and then you said IKFC.
Oh, whatever. Who
Okay.
cares?
I thought you meant Fielder's
How about
Choice.
IKOF?
Well, I would much rather get a bucket of chicken from IKF than have him field goals at shortstop for the Yankees.
Okay.
Sorry,
So-
had an attack there.
Okay, so IKF was the I wanted to do Oswaldo Cabrera, but again, his projections were kind of shitty based on what he did last year, so it wasn't. I don't know. So we just threw IKF in there last year, but I think this is fair to talk about, especially if he's going to be playing any type of regularity. Last year he had a 642 OPS. This year he's projected for 671. He's got. I would love to see IKF hit for a little bit more power, and I don't mean home runs. I mean gap in the ball.
Yeah,
he should be a guy that should go gap to gap. He can easily be a guy, line drive hitter, goes gap to gap that can hit in the 710, 720. Be a guy who work the counts a little bit better. I would like to see that out of IKF. I think 671. He should shoot for higher, unfortunately, and again, a lot of people are like, you shouldn't hate IKF. I don't hate IKF per se. I hate the Yankees for having IKF on this team. But if he's going to be here, I'm going to take the over on the OPS. I think he should be motivated to be better. And I think him having a 700 OPS is not something that's asking too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under. I don't have. Look. I'm not gonna rip on IKF. Like you said, it's not IKF. It's the Yankees, and I think he actually had a pretty respectable offensive season for this team. But how many times did we say last year he's a singles hitter? You know, that batting average might have been one of the highest on the team, but it was just a bunch of singles. I mean, for me, I just don't see this guy coming in and having some, breakthrough year where it's like, averages around the same, but he had a lot more doubles and triples and popped a couple more home runs. I'm going under. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm going under too because he's only had an OPS higher than 671 in his career once, and that was his rookie year. The number I'm more focused on with him is his OBP.
That plays into it for sure.
Right, but slugging is hitting dingers and extra base hits, and he only had 4 home runs last year. So I don't see him doing a whole lot of slugging. I see him getting on base a lot, maybe more than he's projected, but I
can't had 24 extra base hits last year. 24. I mean, if he hits 10 more, he can get to 700 easily. I mean, that's not asking a lot. And I mean, honestly, come on, IKF.
24 is a lot more than I would have guessed.
Yeah, he had 20 doubles. That was more than I would have
Grand Slam.
Thought too.
Grand Slam, okay. And he won us a game in Boston with a home run. Let's go, IKF.
Still going under.
IKLF.
IKOF.
All right, last up here. This is not from Fred. This is from DraftKings. Okay, Fred doesn't. I looked, but Fred doesn't give win totals. Okay, so I know we don't do halves on any of the other stats, but we'll do it here. I guess 93.5 is DraftKings projection for the Yankees this year. 99 was what they won last year. I don't know, man. It's a number that's right in the realm. Now you got to remember what the Yankees did last year. They had an historic first half of the year while they were healthy. Then they started getting hurt. They had a really bad stretch there. They came around in September to lock up the division. So with the injuries the Yankees have right now, do they get off to a slower start? Can they get to 99? Can they get over that 93 number? I think they're going to have to win the division because I think the Toronto Blue Jays.
Wrong.
You don't think Toronto's going to be good?
No, I'm just kidding.
Wrong.
China.
Oh, do I think so? I got the Yankees in that like 95, 96 range, so I will take the over. I mean, if you're taking under that, you got real concerns about this team, and I don't want to project those types of that type of negativity on this right now. So I will take the over.
Yeah, they were awesome for a long stretch last year, and then they were terrible. So I don't see them having a big high like they had last year, but I also don't see them having a low like they did last year, and that'll
play a little bit more consistently throughout the year.
Be the same result in a way if they do it that way, and so I see them going over that number. Plus Boone, I mean, come on, Boone's the most winningest, right? He wins
under Boone's umbrella. Under Boone's umbrella.
Ella.
I'm gonna go with this Boone theory and run with it. No, I really think I'm not kidding. I think the Yankees have 100 wins or more this year. It doesn't mean I'm any more optimistic about this team unless they get some reinforcements, because I'm so sick of caring about the regular season. I really think that with Rodon and Cole, I think Cole's going to have a better regular season. I really do. With Rodon in there, I really think this team is going to be looking upwards of 100 wins this year. I don't think it's going to matter when the postseason comes around. I'm not saying that this team is going to be any more or less dominant than last year and have more or less of a better chance the way they're constructed. I just think regular season wise, they're going to be a little better, and I'm going to have to go over that number for sure.
Okay, over. All right, so that'll wrap up the 2023 projections. Fred, you can go back to drinking your face off till we for next year.
Okay.
All right. So next week is a big week. We're going to do a deep dive season preview. Okay, there will also be a channel wide season preview coming up. I'm sure We'll tweet that out when we'll all be together to do the season preview. But the NYYST season preview will be on Monday night next week, when we'll take a look at some position battles if they haven't already been declared. I mean, they should be, but these are the Yankees. So we'll take a look at all that stuff next week. Again, we want to see you in the Audi Club on April 1st. There are, what, Chris, you said 17 tickets left. Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Okay. Number match for Aaron Boone.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Ella. All right. So we want to see you out there. Come hang out with us. It's going to be an amazing time, an amazing event, and we can sing Umbrella together.
Hey, okay.
Can we please record that or at least thinking about it?
You can run into my arm.
I'm being told that my sources are telling me that Gardy may make an appearance on the show next week.
Wow. Oh man. Well,
those are some good sources.
I'll have to make sure I'm here this time because I'm never here for them.
Because we last time Gardy was on, we wanted to talk to him right before the season started, and then some news came out a few weeks ago that we want to talk to Gardy about. Apparently Gardy not only busted Garrett Cole's balls about the spider attack, but apparently busted his balls about how much money he makes, and that's the reason why they don't have free Wi-Fi on the planes.
Wow.
So if Gardy can join us, which my sources are telling me that he possibly can, we definitely want to get his take on that.
Do you know what Cashman said to Gardy after he fucked with Cole too many times?
What
Get the fuck out!
Hey.
I went well.
Okay.
We want to thank everybody that's been in the chat. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you're still there in the chat, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. We're doing big things in 2023. We want everybody to be a part of it. We want to thank everybody for the continued support of NYYST and NYY News TV. Thank you for listening and watching episode 324. SGR.
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Before it hits the front page, NYY